Hello, soul family. Welcome to Spiritual Manifestation. If this is your first time, welcome in. And if you've been here before, I'm so glad to have you home. I want to start this reading by saying, this message has a certain stillness to it, a kind of quiet gravity. And the timing of when I'm recording this, that's no accident. It's actually really late where I am right now, almost midnight. And even though I don't know if this is going to go up tonight or sometime tomorrow, Spirit made it clear. The hour matters. The energy coming through tonight is meant to be received in the dark, when the world gets quieter, when the distractions settle, when the masks come off. Because this reading, it's for the one who can't run from their own thoughts anymore. I'm picking up on a very specific thread in the collective right now. Someone is thinking about you heavily, but not during the noise of the day. No, this energy starts pressing in when they're alone, when it's just them and their thoughts, when everything else fades out and all that's left is you, your memory, your energy, the silence between you two. That's when it hits the hardest. And here's the thing. This isn't new. It's been building. But tonight, it's loud. Loud enough to cross time, space, ego, and speak through this channel right now. So if you're feeling a little emotional for no reason, or restless when the sun goes down, that's not random. You're being felt, you're being missed, you're being pulled into someone's late night reckoning. Let's pull the first card and see what Spirit wants to reveal. I just pulled the 8 of Cups. And this one, it hits deep. Because this is someone who walked away, not with closure, not with clarity, not even with a real goodbye. They just slipped out of your life. Quiet, abrupt, and it left you standing there trying to make sense of something that didn't make any sense at all. Spirit keeps repeating the word explain. It's like the energy around you has been whispering, why didn't they just explain? Because if this is your reading, I feel like you've been sitting with that ache, that need for understanding, that craving for something to make it all feel less sudden, less sharp, less confusing. And the silence? Oh, divine feminine. It's loud, louder than words ever could be. They're not saying anything, but that in itself has become a message. You feel their absence in rooms where you used to feel their energy. And the part that really stings? You didn't expect it to go like this. Something between you felt real, didn't it? Like things were starting to move somewhere meaningful. So when they just vanished, it left you wondering, was I wrong? Did I imagine the whole connection? But you didn't imagine anything. Because here's the deeper truth. They didn't disappear because you weren't enough. They left because they thought they weren't. I keep hearing rejection, but it's not coming from you. It's something they feared so deeply. They tried to beat you to it. They rejected themselves first, just in case you might. And by doing that, they left you with the pain they were too scared to feel. There's an image coming through. It's like someone quietly slipping out the back door while the house is still full of light. That's how this felt. 1 minute they were here, and the next, gone. And you were just standing there holding all these open moments, wondering how they could walk away without saying a word. And if I'm honest, there's still some shock inside of you. It's that lingering disbelief, that voice asking, did that really happen? because this was not what you expected from them. It doesn't match the version of them you got to know. And yet, here we are. I'm also picking up that you feel their energy crashing over you sometimes, like waves that come out of nowhere. 1 minute you're fine, and the next, you're hit with this ache, this emotion, this longing. And it doesn't even feel like yours, because it's not all yours. That's them. That's the weight they're not speaking. That's the sadness they're not sharing. Spirit is saying they're still emotionally tied to you, and you're picking up on it in the quiet moments. I actually felt this energy earlier today while driving, and maybe that means something to you. Maybe you two shared drives, or there's something about a car, or maybe you just know that feeling of being hit with their energy while doing something ordinary. And there's emotion there, a lot of it, but it's locked up inside of them, buried under fear. I keep hearing, I miss you more than you know, but I don't know what to do about it. And if you've been randomly thinking about glasses or seeing someone in your mind with them, take that as a confirmation. Now, even though this person pulled away, they didn't just disappear from you, they pulled away from everyone. They've gone inward. They're carrying something heavy right now. And here's the part that's both heartbreaking and strangely comforting. You knew, even before you had the proof. You felt something shift in their energy. You sensed they were going through something, even if they didn't say it. That's how deeply connected your souls are. They're not just alone physically, they're trapped in their head, carrying stress they haven't shared with anyone. Even the people closest to them don't fully know what they're holding. Shoulders feel significant here. I'm seeing someone holding tension there, carrying more than they let on. And I'm hearing signs of Virgo, Libra, maybe even Scorpio energy. But ultimately, what's showing up is someone overwhelmed, scared, and unsure how to reach for love when all they've known is fear. So if you've been wondering, was it me? Was I too much? Please hear me when I say, you were never too much. You were simply the mirror that showed them everything they weren't ready to face. I just pulled the 10 of Wands, and wow. This explains so much about what they've been hiding. Because this person, they're carrying something heavy, like really heavy. But here's the thing, no one around them actually sees it. They're not talking about it. They're not asking for help. They've just accepted this weight like it's theirs to bear alone. And for some of them, it's something financial. For others, it's tied to people they feel responsible for. Maybe family, maybe work, maybe someone they've always looked out for. Whatever it is, it's not light. And it's not something they've shared, not even with the people closest to them. And that's where you come in, because here's what makes this so intense. You see right through them, whether it's something in your eyes or just your energy. This person feels seen around you in a way that kind of shakes them, like they can't pretend, they can't wear the mask, they can't hide behind small talk or distractions. You look at them, and it's like your soul reaches straight into theirs. And honestly, that's why they've been avoiding you. Not because they don't want to be near you, but because they know the second they are, you'll just know. You'll feel what they're carrying. You'll sense the truth before they even say a word. And that scares them more than you know. There's this image coming through of a goat in a huge field, And I don't know if that's something literal for someone. But what really hits me is this. They see you as the GOAT, as in the greatest of all time. Seriously. That's how highly they view you. You might not feel like it right now, especially after how things have played out. But from their perspective, you are magnetic, powerful, confident. And I'm getting chills as I say this because it's coming straight from their soul. You're not just someone they cared about, you're someone they looked up to. And here's where it gets even more complicated. Because I feel like you gave this person something real. Maybe it was a physical gift, or maybe it was your time, your energy, your heart. Whatever it was, you didn't give it with conditions. You gave it from love, from wholeness, but they didn't receive it. They couldn't. I'm seeing them almost pushing it away, not because they didn't want it, but because they didn't feel worthy of it. And that hurts, because it made you feel rejected, like they were saying no to you. But what was really happening is they were saying no to themselves, to love, to softness, to being seen. And I know you've had all these mixed feelings about it, because on one hand, you feel that rejection, that no from them. But on the other hand, there's this undeniable feeling that what you offered was beautiful, pure, and you're not wrong about that, because what you gave was love, and they did feel it. They just didn't believe they deserved it. What's so wild is, even in their absence, they're still thinking of you in this light. You're their muse, their inspiration, their what if. And if you've ever wondered whether they talked about you to friends or family, yes, they did. I'm hearing things like, she's perfect. She has it all. Like they knew your power. They saw your glow up before the world did. And that scared them too. Because from where they stood, they didn't think they could keep up. Whether there were actual people around you or not, they imagined competition. They thought someone else would eventually give you what they couldn't. So instead of trying, they backed out, quietly, telling themselves they were protecting you. But really, they were protecting their own fragile ego. And now, they're just sitting with that choice, carrying the weight of it alongside everything else. And still, they think of you, often. The next card I just pulled is the Two of Swords. This card explains so much about the disconnect between you two. Because this person didn't walk away because they stopped caring. They walked away because they were scared, really scared. Not just of you, but of what it would mean to be truly seen, to be chosen by someone like you. And instead of leaning in, instead of asking questions, instead of communicating how they really felt, they shut down. They went quiet. And that silence wasn't strength. It was fear dressed up like distance. They saw your light, divine feminine. And instead of letting it inspire them, they convinced themselves they weren't good enough to stand beside it. I keep seeing a blue butterfly here. Maybe that means something to you. A sign, a reminder, a moment you shared. And also this golden locket, something delicate, precious, something kept close to the heart. Because that's how they see you. They may not have told you this out loud, but in their heart, you are something sacred, something rare, and that scared them even more. What hurts is that this entire disconnect didn't need to happen. I'm getting chills even saying that, because the truth is, this wasn't rejection. This was miscommunication, a misread of emotions. If they had just been honest, If they had just spoken from their heart instead of their fear, this could have gone so differently. Their higher self is screaming at them now. Just talk to her. Just ask. Just tell her the truth. But they didn't. And now they're stuck in this limbo, feeling you, missing you, but too afraid to come forward. But here's the twist. This isn't over. They may have walked out, but their energy never left. They think of you constantly. They feel you in ways they can't explain to anyone else. And for some of you, you're feeling them too. That sudden wave of emotion that hits you out of nowhere, that's not just you. That's them. They're emotional about you. But instead of expressing it, they're sending it out energetically, silently, like some kind of soul whisper that only you can hear. And what's even more complicated is this. Someone around them got in their head. I'm hearing reality check, but spirit's being really clear. That wasn't reality. That was fear dressed up as logic. Someone planted a seed of doubt in their mind. Someone saw this person falling for you, and instead of cheering them on, they pulled them back. And for some, this wasn't even a malicious thing. It could have come from a place of concern, like a parent, an older feminine figure, or even a protective friend saying, "Be careful, don't get hurt." But for others, it wasn't innocent. I'm getting a really weird feeling about one particular friend. This might not be for everyone, but for those who feel it, you'll know. This is someone who smiled to their face, pretended to support them, but deep down, they were jealous. Either jealous of the love this person was getting from you, or possibly harboring feelings of their own. And instead of being a real friend, they whispered just enough doubt into this person's ear to make them second-guess everything. And that little whisper, that's all it took, because your person was already feeling insecure, already thinking they didn't belong in your world. So when someone echoed that same fear, it felt like confirmation. And instead of fighting for the connection, they shut down, they pulled away, they went quiet, and they told themselves it was better this way. But deep down, their heart is still right here, with you. Now I just pulled the 7 of Swords, and immediately Spirit said, they didn't even know what they were doing. Because here's what I'm getting. This person didn't walk away with some grand plan. They didn't sit down and decide to leave you behind. It was more like autopilot. Like one day they woke up and realized, wait, when did I pull away? When did I let this happen? It's that kind of unconscious disconnection, almost like they were under a spell. And now, they're looking around at all the distance between you and thinking, how did we get here? And what's heartbreaking is that it wasn't even what they truly wanted. They didn't want to be apart from you, but they were surrounded by noise, fear, doubt. Other people's voices in their head telling them they weren't enough, that this love, this connection was too much, too real, too beautiful to ever be for them. And now they feel like too much time has passed to fix it. Whether it's been days, weeks, months, or even years, they're standing in the aftermath of their own silence, not knowing how to reach back out, not knowing how to begin again, because in their mind, they think it's too late. But here's the thing, divine feminine. The truth got twisted. Someone in their life distorted what this connection really was. I don't even think it was all intentional. But whoever this was, maybe a friend, a parent, someone they trusted, they planted a seed of doubt. She's too good for you. Don't get your heart broken. Stick to something safer. And your person, they believed it. They believed that you were a fantasy, an illusion, something that couldn't possibly be real. And so they started seeing you through that distorted lens. And yet, when you two were together, there was such softness, such peace, the kind of connection that didn't need words to be felt, the kind of bond that made the world quiet. And someone told them to let that go. I keep seeing the image of someone holding their heart shut tight, closed off. And this other person, the one who gave the advice or said something that changed everything, their own heart chakra is so blocked. They don't know how to love like you do. They don't know how to feel as deeply. So when they saw the realness between you and your person, they didn't know how to hold it. They couldn't understand it. And instead of just not understanding, they judged it, spoke against it, convinced your person to run from it. And in some cases, this wasn't just a friend. It may have been someone secretly in love with them. A feminine energy who wore the mask of support, but underneath held jealousy, comparison, maybe even romantic feelings they never admitted. If that doesn't resonate, this could also be a family member who lives on the surface. Someone who doesn't know how to connect deeply and couldn't handle the truth of your light. Because here's the real truth. You don't make sense to people who live closed off. You're not meant to. Your love, your presence, your open heart, it's too rare, too big. And when someone lives from fear, from ego, from surface level expectations, they won't know how to receive you. They'll misunderstand you. Or worse, they'll try to shrink you into something they can understand. But your person, they knew the difference. That's why they were drawn to you in the first place. They have a gentle heart. They really do. But they've been surrounded by karmic energies, people who never healed, never looked within, and passed down their wounds like advice. And your person, they listened, even when their soul was saying something else. And what I'm getting now is that this silence they've kept, it hasn't brought them peace. It's actually made things worse. Because even in the quiet, they still feel your presence. Even in the distance, they still see moments that remind them of you. A song, a dream, a scent in the air. It's like spirit won't let them forget, because deep down, their soul knows they didn't just walk away from a person. They walked away from something real. And no matter how much they try to distract themselves or pretend they're okay, that ache stays with them. Because it's not just regret, it's longing. It's grief for what could have been if they had chosen love instead of fear. And here's what Spirit is also showing me. This moment right now, it's a wake-up call. Like they're finally starting to see the truth. That the people who told them you were too much were actually afraid of losing control. That the version of you they were warned about was never the real you at all, just a projection of their own limitations. And your person, they're beginning to question it all. The advice they took, the silence they chose, the walls they built, because the truth is breaking through. And what's rising to the surface now is a deep, aching desire to come back home, to you. This disconnection didn't start with you, and it's not the whole truth. The connection between you two was real, and even though they've been silent, their heart hasn't stopped feeling it. The next card I just pulled is the Hanged Man. And the first thing Spirit said was, they haven't moved, not because they don't care, but because they're frozen in their own fear. This person is in emotional limbo, caught between what they feel and what they fear, caught between what their heart wants and what the world has told them they're allowed to have. And it's heartbreaking, divine feminine, because I can feel how stuck they are. Not because they've chosen to forget you, but because they've been taught to doubt anything that feels this pure, this real, this safe. They've been surrounded by people who don't get them, people who told them to be tough, to be silent, to shove their feelings down until they disappeared. And so they did. For a long time, they lived like that. But when they met you, something cracked open. That quiet, tender part of them, the one they tried so hard to bury, it came alive. And that scared them. Because when you've spent your life hiding your heart, and then someone sees it and loves it, it feels too good to be true. And so they paused. They shut down. Not out of coldness, but out of protection, out of fear, out of all those old voices in their head whispering, "You're not enough for her. She'll leave you. You can't give her what she needs." Those weren't your words, divine feminine. That wasn't your truth. That was their fear, shaped by a lifetime of being misunderstood by people who didn't know how to love them fully. And now they're waking up inside the silence. The Hanged Man shows us someone who needed this pause to finally see the truth, to stop running, to stop listening to the noise and just sit with their own heart. And what they're starting to see, slowly, quietly, is that the love they pushed away was actually the love they were craving all along. But Spirit is clear. This part of their journey isn't about you chasing, fixing, or proving anything. This is their inner reckoning, their moment of stillness, their suspended space where nothing moves because it's not meant to. Not yet. They're learning. They're reflecting. They're beginning to understand the weight of what they lost and what they might still be able to reclaim. And in that silence, something else is starting to happen. They're beginning to see you differently, not because you've changed, but because they're finally seeing clearly, without the filter of fear, without the voices in their head, without the pressure to hide. It's like the fog is lifting, and in that space of stillness, they're realizing you were never the danger. You were the healing, the thing they needed most, but felt least worthy to receive. They're starting to understand now that love isn't supposed to be loud or dramatic or filled with tension. It can be gentle, quiet, powerful in its softness, and that realization, it's shaking something loose in them. Spirit says this shift is internal right now. It may not look like movement on the outside, but inside, their soul is stirring. They're thinking about the things they never said, the way they left things, the look in your eyes when they started to disappear. And they're finally beginning to feel the weight of what they avoided. And you may be feeling it too. Random waves of emotion, dreams that feel like more than dreams, moments of stillness where their energy brushes against yours like a memory. That's them. Spirit says you're still connected. even in this pause. Because this isn't an ending, it's a sacred interruption, a pause that holds purpose, one that's stretching them, awakening them, and preparing them for something more honest, more grounded, more aligned. And even if they don't know how to return just yet, their heart never really left. And you were never the problem. You were the mirror, the safe place, the one who saw them clearly and loved them anyway. That energy, it's still with them, even in the silence, even now. The final card for this reading is the Judgment. And Divine Feminine, this card is so deeply layered. It's not just about reunion, it's about awakening, soul recognition, and the moment everything changes. Because here's the truth. This person has been avoiding their own heart for a long time, not just in love, but in life. They've been living on autopilot, surrounded by people who never truly saw them, in situations that asked them to shrink. And then you came in, and something in their soul stirred. But instead of stepping into that feeling, they stepped away. Not because they didn't feel it, but because they didn't feel ready to hold something that real. And now their spirit is starting to rise. Judgment is that moment when everything we've run from finally catches up with us, not to punish us, but to wake us up. And that's what's happening here. They're beginning to see the truth behind the silence, that they didn't lose you because you were too much. They lost you because they couldn't believe they were enough. And that realization, it's changing them. It's shaking them awake. And it's guiding them right back to the feeling they tried to ignore. You. Right now, they may still feel tangled in the chaos of their own life, still carrying burdens, still working through old fear. But their soul, it knows what it wants. And the image I'm being shown is you. The timeline they once thought was impossible, it's still there, energetically open, still flickering in their heart like a light they can't turn off. And as they begin to find balance, real balance, not the performance of it, they're going to feel a pull that becomes impossible to ignore, a pull to reach out, a pull to speak, a pull to finally choose truth over fear. But this next step, it can't be forced. They have to choose it. They have to feel it. Spirit says that when they come forward, and they will, it won't be half-hearted. It will be real, grounded, whole, because judgment doesn't allow for half-truths. It asks for everything, for vulnerability, for honesty, for accountability, and for love in its purest form. And they'll feel that shift in you. They'll feel the way your energy no longer reaches for them, the way it used to. Not because the love is gone, but because you're no longer willing to carry it alone. You've surrendered it to Spirit. And in doing that, you've become even more magnetic. You're not waiting, you're aligning. And that frequency, it's calling them home in ways they can't explain. They'll look back on the version of you they once knew and realize they never even got to meet all of you. They were too caught in their own shadows to see your full light. But if and when they return now, they'll meet someone even more powerful, someone softer, wiser, and more sovereign. And in that moment, they'll know this isn't about second chances. This is about rising to the level of love you've always held space for. Because judgment isn't just about them choosing you. It's about you choosing yourself, again and again. It's about honoring what your soul already knows. If love is meant to return, it will come back transformed. And if it doesn't, then what's ahead is even more aligned, even more sacred, and entirely worthy of who you're becoming. Because the truth is, you didn't just survive what they walked away from, you evolved through it. You let the silence shape you. You let the absence teach you how to hold yourself more deeply. And that kind of growth, it's sacred. It's the kind of transformation that can't be rushed or reversed. It's why your energy feels different now, stronger, softer, clearer. You're not looking back. You're standing still long enough to let spirit show you what's really meant for your heart. And that's why they're being pulled toward you again. Not because you're reaching for them, but because you've become the embodiment of the love they couldn't receive before. You've become the version of yourself who doesn't settle for potential. You open your heart only to presence, to clarity, to truth. And if they come forward, it won't be because you asked them to. It'll be because they chose to rise on their own, because they finally see what you've always known. You were never too much. You were always the mirror they needed. So let them do the soul work. Let them feel the absence of your light and ask themselves why they're still searching for something they already held. And if they return, let them meet you where you are, not in the old pattern, but in the present moment, because that's what love really is. Not fantasy, not confusion, not fear, but truth. And now, you're ready for nothing less. And divine feminine, the choice will be yours. Not out of power, but out of alignment. Because the version of you they're coming back to, she's not waiting, she's rising. And if they come back, it won't be to the old story. It'll be to the new you, the healed you, the version who knows that love must meet you where you are now, or not at all. Okay, this feels like a beautiful place to close the reading. You've carried so much grace, divine feminine, so much patience. And Spirit wants to remind you that nothing you gave from love was ever wasted. You were never too much. You were a mirror, reflecting back to them the truth they were too afraid to face. And now, that truth is catching up. The energy is shifting. Their soul is waking up. And if and when they return, it'll be because they've finally chosen growth over fear. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. It'll meet you exactly where you are, aligned, clear, and undeniable. So take a deep breath, ground yourself in your power, and let Spirit handle the timing. You're not behind, you're not forgotten, and you're definitely not alone. If this message resonated, be sure to hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future readings. Thank you so much for bringing your beautiful energy into this space. We are also on Patreon. Let's continue this beautiful energy there. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll connect with you again in the next video. Have a peaceful and powerful rest of your day. Bye.